guys, and I'm gonna do some squishies this time. I like to switch up and like do triggers for these sometimes too, because I feel like just the whispers can be a little boring. So I hope you'll enjoy. Let's jump into this first story. Oh wait, let me go in order so I don't mess myself up. Okay, the first story, I mean, these are mostly from AITA. One of them is from Am I the Jerk, which is like the same thing. And so these are from different forums, like AITA forums, but all different variations. So I have like the regular AITA-H, AITA-H Black Edition, which I didn't even know existed until today, and AI the Jerk, Am I the Jerk, which is pretty much AITA also. Okay, first story. AITA for telling my ex-wife that her kids aren't my problem. Already I'm thinking no, but let's see. He starts with, I know I'm not the a-hole for most of this, by the way. My 40 female ex, Paul, 43 male, and I were together for 10 years. But I have been divorced for 5. We have 3 kids, 7 male, 9 female, and 12 male. The reason we divorced is typical. I realized one day that not only was I working full-time, I was doing all the cooking, cleaning, household, and kid management while he just worked and did some yard work. I communicated this. He said he'd work on it, never did, wouldn't do therapy, so I divorced him because I'd rather have 3 kids than 4. He didn't fight me on custody and had them EOWE and paid a lot in child support every other weekend. EOWE every other weekend. And paid a lot in child support. Okay. A few months after we split, he announced he was engaged to and expecting a baby with Tanya, 27 female. Yes, I got STD tests just in case, by the way. Tanya was an exotic dancer and currently doesn't work. They had another kid, and she has a kid that's like 8. My kids do not like being at their father's house. I only speak positively about him to them, but they dislike Tanya and her son. I planned on staying single, but a year after divorce, I planned on staying single, but a year after the divorce, my old friend Bruce moved back to our city, and we reconnected as friends. It evolved, and we're married now. He loves my kids, and they adore him. Our house is quite happy. After they had their second kid, they sued me for 50-50 custody. I knew it was only so that they could pay less child support, not because Paul suddenly wanted to be a good dad, and I had evidence against him for a few things. He lost custody and now has unsupervised visitation. His child support went up. A few months later, I got a huge promotion and now make quite a bit more than him, but unless he goes back to court, they won't change the amount he owes. It's not my responsibility to do that. Plus, in our state, you can only ask for a recalculation every 2 years, so they can't for another year anyway. Tanya has been trying to talk to me for months, and finally cornered me at my oldest son's game. She said that they're struggling, and she knows we don't need the child support, and asked me to please consider her kids. I simply told her that their child support wasn't for me. It was for the kids from their father, and her kids were not my problem. I know, mean, but she wouldn't leave me alone. Now I'm wondering if I should have kept ignoring her, because I've always tried to at least be civil towards them for my kids' sake. Okay, there's 2 edits, but first I'm gonna give my 2 cents. What are my 2 cents? I don't think that she is the a-hole. I think that, like she said, it's not really her business. If they want to change the amount that they owe, then they need to take it to court. They should have never tried to take her to court for 50-50 custody in the first place. I think, like, if everything was fine the way it was and you were paying less money, that's what you get. for trying to swindle the system. And now look at you. Now you have to pay more, and you don't even get 50/50 or every other weekend. Now you just have like visitation, which is, and your kids don't even like being there. Like all the red flags are red flagging right now, you know, like so yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's the a-hole. I mean, maybe she could have handled things a little bit better, but let's read the edits. First edit says, I am not asking if I'm the a-hole for getting child support. Even if I am, I don't care. I'm asking if I was the a-hole for telling her her kids weren't my responsibility. If they are struggling financially, she's more than welcome to get a job. Oh yeah, I forgot that part. She doesn't even work. She's over here like, oh, you don't need it. You shouldn't tell people what to do with their own pockets. That's what I know. And if you're struggling, then you should do something about it instead of trying to take money out of other people's pockets. And you could say like, well, she's taking money out of her ex-husband's pockets, but is she really? Because if they were still married, his kids would be his financial responsibility, and even if they're not married, they're still his kids, so they should share the financial responsibility of those kids that they birthed, same way that the new wife should have the responsibility of paying for the kids that she birthed, right? I don't know. Edit number 2 says, I don't know if her ears were burning or what, but Tanya just texted me verbatim, if you refuse to pay us back the money he's forced to give you, the least you can do is have your husband adopt him so he can sign away his rights and focus on the family that actually matters. That's so incredibly rude and disrespectful. She said, I forwarded that to Paul and my lawyer and blocked her. God, I'll never forgive him for making me interact with this woman. Yeah, that woman sounds like a hot mess. Let's read some comments. First comment says, I'm assuming he knew how much his child support obligation was before he knocked up Tanya. That's facts. You went and had another baby knowing that you couldn't even afford the first 2. He doesn't need, this is another comment, he doesn't need his child support reduced, he needs to learn how to put on a condom. Not the a-hole. Yeah. Yeah, somebody said choosing to have multiple kids while already financially tied to 3. Choices have consequences. Yeah. Somebody said literal F around and find out. No, that's facts. Okay, let's read it. This one is titled AITA for thinking this woman is interested in my husband and not wanting her in my home anymore. Ooh, T. Okay, let me preface this by saying I know I might be ANTAH here, but my spider senses are tingling and I need to know if I'm actually justified or just overreacting. I, a female 30, am married to my husband, male 34. A few weekends ago, we met a woman, 29 female, let's call her Dee Dee, at my husband's friend's gathering. Dee Dee spotted my husband, made a beeline over to him, and started chatting. From what I could tell, it was not more than a minute or 2, and according to my husband, she spent most of it talking to our son, specifically how he looks just like her son. While she was talking, my husband started inching closer towards where I was sitting. Once he got close enough, I could hear her saying again how our son looks like hers and how cute he is and how much he resembles my husband, which he does. She eventually noticed me looking in their direction, stopped talking to my husband, comes over and said, "Oh, you must be his wife." We exchanged pleasantries and she disappeared for the rest of the night. Fast forward to the next weekend. Dee Dee came over to our home with my husband's friend and his lady to pick up a dresser we were gifting them. Husband's friend and his lady both said hello to me first and then spoke to my husband. Dee Dee, however, however, walked straight in and greeted my husband first, complimenting our house and telling him he looked nice today. The man was in basketball shorts and a tee. She asked to use the restroom. Husband's friend's lady showed her where it was. When she came out, my husband and I were sitting on the couch. She looked right at him and then at me and says, "Oh, I didn't see you there." Before I could say anything, everyone questions how she didn't see me, but she gave me some BS explanation. Once again, we exchanged basic pleasantries. Husband's friend invited my husband to a college football game. Dee Dee immediately chimed in with, "Yeah, you should come." My husband asked husband's friend if there were enough tickets for me and our son too, and husband's friend said yes, so we all planned to go. Before leaving, Dee Dee randomly complimented my husband's eyes. Dee Dee's dragging it, bro. At the game, while waiting for everyone to arrive, I told my husband I felt like Dee Dee was into him. He told me I was being crazy. Everyone shows up. The guys are talking. Dee Dee joins their conversation while I'm talking with husband's friend's lady, and the kids run around. I told the kids they needed to stay in a certain area because we were in a parking lot. Dee Dee jumps in with, "No one is going to hit them. Don't you know who I am?" The way I almost cursed at Dee Dee just now. I told her point blank, "No, I don't." She laughed and tried explaining that she meant the kids know who she is, but I told her I don't care. It's a parking lot. They're kids, and they need to stay in the area I told them, period. I walk away and start talking to my husband's friend's lady. A few minutes later, my son runs over to play with my husband. Dee Dee starts calling him nephew, telling him to come to her. He ignores her and goes back to playing. She calls again. "Nephew, come here to Auntie Dee Dee." Here's where I might unapologetically be the a-hole, but she poked Mama Bear. I stepped in and asked what she wanted. She said she just wanted to give him a hug. I told her not to be weird, and she needed to stop calling my son nephew, as he's not going to be calling her auntie. My kid doesn't assign family labels to strangers. She said she understood and stopped. We go inside the game. My husband's friend, the kids, and I sit down first. Husband's friend's lady sits one row behind us. Dee Dee sits directly behind my husband, despite there being plenty of open seats. The next day, I asked my husband what he thought about Dee Dee sitting directly behind him. He admitted he found it weird too, especially since she kept bumping into him. I told my husband I don't want her back in our home, and he's fine with that. But because she hangs around husband's friend and husband's friend lady, she's still going to be around in general. Here's where I'm stuck. On paper, everything I've described could technically be written off as nothing, but I genuinely feel like my instincts aren't wrong. So, AITA for not wanting her in my home, and would I be the a-hole if I pulled her aside and talked to her about what I've noticed? Okay, there's an edit. She said she's gonna answer a few questions that she's seen multiple times. I don't think that she's bugging. Like, this woman is definitely into her husband and is like not even being shy about it. She's actually being really inappropriate, and then also bringing the child in. I don't even think she was the a-hole for saying what she said about her kid. Like, no, you're not my kid's auntie. We don't even know you. He doesn't want to come to you, obviously. He's ignoring you, so leave my kid alone. Like, you're being weird. You're being very weird. It's childish. And then being like, "Oh, I didn't even see you there." Like, first of all, this is my house. Okay, let's read her edit. 1, I haven't told husband's friend lady anything, as I wanted confirmation from you amazing people before bringing this up to her. Husband's friend lady, this is 2. Husband's friend lady and I aren't close. We hang out only when my husband and her man hang out. Number 3, my husband is completely or was completely oblivious to her flirting. I mean, he didn't even know when I was flirting with him when we first were talking. Number 4, Dee Dee She only came with husband's friend and husband's friend lady because they used her truck to transport the dressers. Number 5. No, my husband isn't her child's father. No, I do not need to get a DNA test done on her child. My son and hers don't actually look alike to me or anyone else. She said that too. Number 6. I don't know who or where her child's father is. Number 7. I assume they met because she lives in the same neighborhood. However, I'm unsure how they actually met. And number 8. My child was also at this gathering and approached my husband during their short encounter. I hope this answers some of the more recurring questions. I'll be sure to post an update when there is one. I appreciate every single comment. Okay, let's read some of these comments because my 2 cents has not changed. Not the a-hole. She's definitely attracted to him. Say something to her. Opie says that she plans to. Don't let that wench back in your house, and you should let husband's friend lady know why not to bring her there and why. Because why would she want to come to someone's house that she doesn't know when they're going to pick up a dresser or whatever it is? If I was hanging with my friends and they were doing that, I'd go home. Yeah. She already said they came because they were using her truck. Anyway, that's real messy. That lady's messy. Dee Dee. It's Dee Dee. Dee Dee's real messy. She better go find her own man. Okay, next one. Am I the jerk for telling my sister gentle parenting is BS and kicking her and her family out of my house? I, 26 female, let my older sister, 32 female, stay with me for 2 weeks while their apartment was being treated for mold. She brought her husband and their 2 kids, 5 male and 3 female. I love my nibblings, but my sister is one of those hardcore, gentle parenting evangelists who treats every meltdown like it's a spiritual awakening. From day 1, the kids were jumping on my couch, throwing toys and smearing yogurt on my walls. Normal kid stuff, sure, but every time I tried to say something, my sister would get down to their eye level like she's hosting a TED Talk for toddlers and go, "Sweetheart, what's your body trying to tell you right now?" Girl, your kid is telling you he wants to ruin my furniture. The final straw. Her son poured an entire jug of orange juice on my rug to make a lake for the dinosaurs. When I told him, no, we don't do that, my sister literally shushed me and said, don't correct him, it disrupts his autonomy. I snapped. I said, if his autonomy means destroying my house, then gentle parenting is BS. She gasped, like I slapped her with the Bible. We argued. She said I was undermining her values. I said I was tired of living in a daycare run by vibes only. I told them they had to leave by the weekend. She cried. Her husband looks relieved, lol, and they packed up and left early. Now my mom is calling me insensitive and saying I disrespected my sister's parenting style. Sister isn't talking to me. Am I the jerk for kicking them out and saying gentle parenting is BS? Maybe the way it was approached was a little bit harsh, but I don't disagree with OP here. Like, obviously, it's not working. Like, you can't be, if you go out in public at a restaurant and your kid is like destroying things in the restaurant, you can't just be like, sweetie, what is your body telling you right now? Like, no, you need to stop it. This is not what we do. And, you know, like, I don't know. I don't have kids, so maybe I can't speak on this, but yeah, you can't just let your kids go out and destroy everything, even if it's your family's house. Like, that's really unfair to your sister. Especially she's doing you the favor of letting you stay there with all your kids and your husband. Like, at the very least, you could try not to let your kids destroy your home. At the very least, right? First comment says, let them destroy your mother's house. Send a bill to your sister for the damaged items. Not the jerk. Somebody said, invoice the mom and the sister. Next comment says, my aunt did gentle parenting and homeschooling. My cousins are dumber than a box of bricks and only get their act together when life hit them like a freight train. They are decent enough humans now. Somebody replied to that and said, too many people fail to understand what gentle parenting actually is. That, like the sister, isn't gentle parenting. It's a free-for-all. As for homeschooling, I seriously wish there was mandatory testing for parents before they attempt it. My high school dropout cousin has no business trying to homeschool her kids, and teaching is an art and a science beyond personally knowing the material that needs to be learned. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Let's read the last story, you guys. This one is titled AITA for telling my sister to dump her boyfriend after the comments he made about her son. I, 23 female. My sister Maya is 27 female, and she has a 4-year-old son, Liam, who is half Korean. We're mixed too because our mom is black and our dad is white. Our family has always been multicultural. Maya usually dates white or East Asian men, and she's always been closer to our mom's side of the family. I typically date white men, and I'm closer to our dad's side, but I still get along with a lot of people on our mom's side. My cousin on that side is basically my best friend, so mixed kids and mixed relationships aren't unusual for us. It's just how our family is. Maya has been dating this guy Eric, 29 male, for around 6 months. He's white. When she first brought him around, I honestly just thought he was awkward and didn't know how to adapt to how our family interacts. He wasn't my favorite, but I didn't think anything serious was wrong. Then the comments started. Nothing loud, nothing blatantly racist, just little things that made me look at him differently. One time he said he can never read Asian kids because they always look serious. I told him that sounded off. He brushed it away and Maya brushed it away, so I didn't push it. But it kept happening. Every couple weeks something new would slip out. The last time they came over to my apartment, it went too far. Liam was running around and accidentally bumped into him. Eric made a joke about Asians and driving. I told him it wasn't funny. He told me to relax and said, cultural tendencies exist. I told him not to talk like that about my nephew or her kid. He said I was overreacting. Later, when Maya and I were in the kitchen, I told her she needed to leave him. I'm not sitting there letting someone throw passive racist comments at her son and my nephew. She immediately got defensive and said I was trying to control her life. I told her she can date whoever she wants, but I'm not going to pretend comments like that are normal around a 4-year-old. She said he's socially awkward and jokes weird when he's nervous. I told her he's socially aware enough not to say any of this around his white coworkers or his own family. He knows what he's doing. He just doesn't think there will be consequences saying it around us. Now she's mad at me and says I don't give people chances. I told her I don't care about chances when the one being disrespected is her kid and my nephew. AITA for telling her to break up with him. Okay, so no, not the a-hole, because obviously this guy's ignorant. But again, maybe the way she went about it was a little bit harsh. We have to remember that even though people are our families and they know how we are, it doesn't mean that they always receive that well, you know? Like, if it's a serious situation, sometimes you have to kind of change your tone for someone to be more receptive. And even so, even if you do that, a lot of times you're not going to receive it well. So in the case of the sister here, like, she's obviously doesn't have any plans to break up with this guy, right? So of course she's going to be upset. What's my point here? My point is that you cannot force people to think the way that you think or to see things the way that you see them, you know? I think this is something that her sister is going to have to figure out on her own, unfortunately. Let's read some comments. First comment says, not the a-hole. He would not be invited back to my home, and your sister is an a-hole for defending his racist choosing a man over her child, she wouldn't be invited back either. Yeah. Somebody said he's blatantly. Oh, this is way too long. I'm not reading this. But yeah, not the a-hole. Being openly racist about Asians in front of your family. Who knows what he's saying behind closed doors? Yup, it's true. That's facts. Not the a-hole, but don't cut your cousin off completely. I have a hunch that she will be needing a friend when she eventually wakes up to the fact that he is racist. Yeah, sister, not cousin, but yeah. Not the a-hole. It's this simple for me. If you come around me and say something out of pocket and I check you on it and you defend it in a manner which dismisses my true feelings, oh dog, you gotta go. Maybe it's not offensive to you, but over here we take offense. Leave that over and pick it down where you came from. Sorry, but I hate this sort of thing. Yeah, facts. Don't apologize. Oh, some of these comments are going in. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I will see you. I will see you in my next